go. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Hits and Heels. It's Wednesday night. It's 9 o'clock. We're getting ready to get it in. I'm gonna go right into it. So today, let me tell you who I got today. So this is Littleton Ward. Littleton, matter of fact, he's still in his office. He is a principal of a middle school. But the reason why I asked him to be on is because he's the committee chair for the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame, the selection committee, and the selection committee is getting ready to meet in the next couple of weeks, and they're going to determine their class of 2024. And so, one of the things that we're going to touch base on is what is the selection process? I guess what this is the nomination process, not the selection process. What is the nomination process? And maybe we'll touch a base on a little bit of the nomination process, right? So we're gonna go in that, and then later on, after we get done talking about Layshaw, then we're gonna talk about his son's recruiting process, what that's gonna look like with him being a former college player from the University of Kentucky and navigating through that whole thing. But we're gonna go into the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame, Littleton.
Right on in.
Let me tell you, this is difficult.
It is. It's a hot topic. It's a hot focus for the Lexington community. Also, we started from ground up in 2000 when COVID hit, and Bobby and Jennifer's vision, of course, in the process. And as you go through it, we've been through it a couple of years now, but of course, starting in from the beginning of things, we wanted to be able to really focus in on the people that were unsung heroes, right?
Right.
Of the community, of the area, being able to get those people that haven't got that recognition in the state or even nationally, those athletes and coaches and community representatives that needed have an opportunity to be able to get recognized in that way. So that's the whole focus. That was the whole focus of what we started out doing, and we made a big splash in the selections of in the nominations part of it, and selections of people for the first class. We had a big splash with guys and gals, and in all those categories, and it turned out to be a really good success as you move forward. As we prepared and got ourselves ready for the second year, the selections part of it, it gets really tough because you got so many people that are being nominated and that are, I should say, probably in the position where a lot of them are have the opportunity to be able to get in, and some either now or later, right? And you want to be able to, the selections committee, the nominations, people want to make sure that they nominate people and give as much information possible, when you nominate it. So when you nominate somebody, you want to give as much detail possible about that person, get every dot your I's and cross your T's on being able to give insights on that individual that you're nominating. Because, if you're going to nominate someone, you want to be able to be that person's representative, right? If you will,
Yes.
right? And you want to make sure they are in a position where you give it all insights as much as possible. So as we go through the processes with the committees, the nominations committee, and then the selection processes, that they want to be able to have as much information as possible on the people. So it's tough because you want to be able to make sure that the competition gets thick as you get into the war room. And I've been in the war room 1 year, of course. The past couple of years, I've been part of the whole process. So, but I understand as the head selections committee chair that it is a strenuous process on the committee, and they're doing the best they can to be able to go through the processes of being able to do the best they can in that whole ordeal. So it is not easy. It's not easy, and I'm not going to sit here and act like it is easy. and you won't, because either way you go at it, somebody's gonna be unhappy.
Somebody's gonna be unhappy,
right? Somebody's gonna
yeah.
be unhappy, and you want to make sure you're able to go through the particulars, and that's why the details are important. In that process. So when we get to compare and contrast resumes, athletically or coaching or
as a contributor.
Yeah, contributors. And when you get that process, you want to make sure you're able to air out, the differences as a committee, right? So without going into all the details of the
right.
But it's a tough process, and it is great for the community. And what I would say is those that are interested in get people nominated, you're going to have your opportunity again, to be able to do those things. But make sure you put in as much details as possible. That's important. Yeah.
So so if there's anybody in Lexington, and you might not be in Lexington, you might live outside of Lexington, but you know someone from Lexington that was a fantastic, phenomenal athlete. So the first couple of years we tried to put in the people that were obvious, right? Yeah. The Tyson Gays, the Dermonti Dawsons, the T-Bone, the Steve Chandlers, people that are in other Hall of Fames, or they played at the absolute highest level of their sport or whatever. So but then there were some people that were left out that first year that probably should have been in there. And even the second year, there was probably people that was on that level that should have been left out.
Absolutely.
But this is what I learned. I learned that you can't submit. I can't submit Littleton Ward and just say he was just a great guy.
No. It's more than that. You gotta be.
He was good for the community. Resume, He's just a great guy, and that's what I found when we would kind of go through some of the, the documentation that was submitted. A lot of it would seem like it would be incomplete. So, so right now, laceoff.com is where you can go, and we still have it. We've opened it up where you can go all year round and you can submit. It's just that now the deadline is over for 2024. Absolutely. So now you can go to laceoff.com. If there's somebody that you want nominated for the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame,
yes,
you can go there, and the next cutoff is going to be October the 31st. So it'll be October 31st every year. The gala is on September the 21st at the Central Bank Center again. Tickets haven't gone on sale yet, so just go ahead and save the date, and that way you can get people that are nominated. And see, I'm at a disadvantage. Well, I don't think it matters. I think depending on your age, we have like people that were in the segregated era, so people your age might not know who those people are, right? And so then when we're looking at the list, we're like, well, we are so dependent on the bio.
Absolutely, because it's the goal, of course, as you continue to move forward, you work towards being able to continue to get continue to be able to build a variety of people on committees, so they can be able to have those errors. You're so you can cover those bases. Mm-hmm. But yes, you're solely relied on the background and resumes. You are.
Right. Some of these people, we can't go to Google and Google them.
You can't, and that's tough. That's a tough ordeal, because you have a lot of people in the segregated era that were, commendable and in these areas of athletics and also community, etc. You cannot. You try to go in and try to get their names up and get information on, and it's not there, and that's unfortunate because of the era they came through.
Right.
So,
there's even some people that have been in the last 20 so years.
Yeah.
That might have went pro or something like that, and the information is still very vague on Google.
It's not dated. So, you're trying your best to get it right. And the goal, of course, every year, as a selection chair, we work towards being able to have our meetings to clean up what needs to be cleaned up to continue to get it right. Right.
Absolutely.
And it takes time to do that like you want to. And we're that is a continuous process. But I believe we're getting better. We're getting better.
There's no doubt in my mind that we're going to get better every year because again, this thing is something new. We had like no blueprint or anything to really go by. I mean, we totally just the Joneses built it from scratch. So they went and talked to other people, and I've had them on. So if you guys want to go through YouTube or whatever, I think back in August. I think if you go through August, I interviewed both the co-founders and also Connie Rayford, the chair, and we went extensively about talking about Layshoff and how it came into fruition. Right. But because I told you there's like four females, because I'm partial about the females. Yeah, there's like 4 females on there that was like, oh, their names are not on here, right? And so, and I think that's what the community doesn't see, because we're not going to share the list, right? That's private information, and it's exclusive for our team. And so we're not going to share that information, but there's people on there that's probably should be on there that's not on there. And then the ones that are on there, we just have names, or we have incomplete information. Right. And the information is not extensive. Yeah. And it doesn't give them any justice. And they might have beast. It's not giving them any justice. Because when you go against and so somebody like me, that was my point. Somebody like me, I'm not from Lexington, and I'm just now getting to know a lot of these people. Yep. So I have to be like, okay, I'm being a little bit, my heart isn't in it as like maybe some of the other people are who are passionate about maybe certain people. But when I'm looking at it, it's like, okay, what did they do? Right. You want to be, that's where, like yourself, you want to have a lot more information. I got to have more information, especially when I'm having to compare the 200 names. It's a lot. Right. So we got to get 200 names, 200 plus, and we got to narrow that down to 15, 20 people. Yeah. So you guys are in the thick of it right now, in the process of you narrowing down every week. Yeah. So the next couple of weeks, and then in February, sometime in February, we'll announce the class of 2024. Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm excited. Hey, I'm excited about that. I am just so grateful and thankful to the Joneses for just even allowing me to be a part of this, especially with me not being from, Cisco and I, neither one of us are from Lexington. Right. But just respecting us and our voice in the athletic community to give us the opportunity to serve on the board of Layshoff. Absolutely. So Layshoff, there's the website. It's the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame. And go there if you have someone that you need to be, that you would like to nominate. Please, please, please be as detailed. It's like applying for a job. Like, it is really extensive.
Put everything out there.
Everything. I don't care how trivial you might think that it is. You have to put it on there.
You got to do your homework when you nominate someone. You should do your homework to make sure you are because you're like an ambassador for that person. So make sure you do your homework in that process. Right. It's important.
So my favorite watcher is Mr. Alvin Brown, and Mr. Brown, yes, he is a Bryan Station alum.
I am. I'm a BS alum. I am absolutely. I am a Bryan Station High School alum, football, track, all of that. I'm through and through, right? But that's something that never will leave me. So yes, I am. Yep.
So Bryan Station alum. So your son attends. Well, my daughter. Well, I'm not mad because my daughter is. I don't know if my daughter is a Bryan Station alum. So,
yeah.
So when we moved to Lexington, she went to Crawford and she attended Bryan Station, graduated from Bryan. So of course I have mad love for Bryan Station,
Sure.
because that's where my baby graduated from.
Absolutely.
And that's her alma
I
mater.
think your baby graduated
A year before yours.
Yeah, before Caleb graduated.
Yes. A year. I think they're a year behind each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm getting ready to go into it. So here's our connections. Why I had him on here. So our babies both ran track for Bryan Station, his alum, and they're like a year apart, and they both. Jalen did hurdles. Did Kayla do hurdles? I think they both did hurdles.
Did hurdles for a year.
Did hurdles. They both did hurdles together.
Yeah.
So they became really, really close.
Yeah.
And so that's where our first connection had started, and then just over the years, he became a athletic director for one of the local high schools. And so, of course, with our son being playing baseball and playing football and attending those games, we would always connect. And I think I've asked you, even if you ever see Ty, make sure you get in his ear about some things. So that's what I love about the connection that we have. And so, you have the 3 children, the oldest, and then you have Bonus.
Littleton. Littleton's 25 now. He's graduated from BCTC at HVAC degree.
Oh my God!
Yeah. So
that's one of the best things that you can get into in this day and age. Like the whole trade school thing and learning a trade in this day and age has gotten
huge. So he's working to get into that consistently with his job. So he's starting his career. He's moving forward in what he's doing, and then I have a baby boy, Elijah. So
and Elijah has how many offers?
Right now, he has one offer currently right now with U of L. He is in a position where he's still young and he's about ready to start being able to play more ball now. He's at a tough high school where there's a lot of competition.
So he plays for Frederick Douglass, which is where Ty played, and Frederick Douglass has been a powerhouse in Lexington for the last 5 years.
It is a tough high school, but I would say it's really well-rounded. To me, Frederick Douglass and Bryan Station it's like the new Bryan Station in a way. Let me say that.
Okay.
I can remember the way that how Bryan Station is now and how Frederick Douglass branched off. That was kind of how, I came through the ranks. That's how the schools were.
Back in the day when you guys were coming up, Bryan Station. And Bryan Station's always had athletes.
How Douglas kind of dominated for a while. That's kind of how we were in the city, honestly. And to get back on him, he chose, my son Elijah chose Frederick Douglass more so for he's in a BMW program. Well, not BMW. He goes to
Carter G.
He goes to Carter G. Woodson. So we've been in that program since he was 6th grade.
Yeah, Ty started when he was in 6th grade.
Yeah, so he's been in that program for a long time, and that's kind of where the program went. It's just what it was.
Yeah, so, I mean, we have mad respect for the Carter G. Woodson program and Miss Akins for everything that she does, and Miss Cozart, the principal that's over there. Because it's like for those that don't know, Carter G. Woodson is like a college prep program within Frederick Douglass School. So they have like their own wing at Frederick Douglass, but it's still like a separate school. But because they don't have sports and they're in the same building, their sports is affiliated with Frederick Douglass. Is how that kind of works, right?
Yeah.
So we were definitely grateful. Ty got a 4.0 this past semester. And college. So to me, that's just a testament to the education that he got through the Carter G. Woodson program, because sometimes, a lot of kids will, struggle, especially that first year as a freshman and transitioning from high school to a freshman.
Mm-hmm. So he's it's been in I think that the school Carter G. Woodson has done a really good job in growing Elijah. in the right manner. And, you know, honestly, as he's going through the athletic pieces of things at Frederick Douglass, he's at a place where he's growing into his own person. Granted, I'm a U Bryan Station alumni, but I wanted him to take his own route, right?
Yes.
I want him to make his own name for himself, right? So this is his opportunity to be able to do that in that way. So, because I get a lot of flack at times that
because why didn't he go to Bryan Station? Yeah,
I get that, and I understand why I get that, but it's not my journey. So I have to sit back as a father and a dad to be respectful for my son and go and support him and my other kids the way they need to be supported. You know, so he's on this journey, but on this journey to be able to get challenged, and he's challenged on this journey. So he's gonna make his own name for himself. I look at it like that.
Right, and I think that I love that that's what Cisco did also with Ty. But then there still was that balance or that line where you still have to have some influence, because they're still at an age where they really don't know what they need to know. They really don't know. They think they know at that age, but they really don't know. So you still have to give, sometimes a push, and kind of got to make it look like that is their idea.
So you got to go a roundabout way.
You got to go a roundabout way, or you got to use someone else and let someone else get in their ear, and it can't come from you as a parent.
Right.
That's why it's hard to coach your own kid these days. You have to get somebody else to coach them, because
I've been doing it since he was young.
It doesn't matter how much of a beast you were. For some reason, kids just don't respect their parents and what their skill level and their abilities are. And so Cisco wouldn't. I mean, Ty's never seen Cisco's brag book or whatever. Yeah, trophy book, or see everything. He hit it from because he didn't want him to feel like he had to live up to something that he might not have been able to. But luckily, Ty totally exceeded, and he's apparently better than this. I want to go back and address Mr. Brown, because let me tell you, he just hit something real right here that I really love to touch on about Bryan Station. He said he felt like that Bryan Station was one of the best high schools in Lexington that has produced so many great athletes. He said in the 70s, Bryan Station had the best track team, featuring Cornell Burbridge's older brother. Of course, Burbridge's was in our last induction. Matter of fact, most of the people that he's mentioning on here have been inducted into the Lexington Hall of Fame. The basketball team, Jack Gibbons went in our first round. Larry Bird and Mel Turpin just went with Cornell. Dermani and Mark Logan both went into our first, in our inaugural, and and again, it was hard not to not to nominate those people and get them in that first year. Like, those were the people that are totally just obvious.
A lot of those guys had the credentials, and I've heard. I mean, the thing is that when I was at Bryan Station, I saw a lot of those guys that they're mentioning right there. A lot of them were on the wall. They had a wall, athletic wall in the foyer outside the gym. I mean, you had all the plaques and all the pictures of people that were All-Staters and All-Americans on the wall. And all players that came with me, it was always I look on the walls like, man, I'm getting on that wall one way or the other.
And that's got to be some type of motivation. Yes. Like, why would you not want to be on the wall?
Yeah, it was a huge wall for us. And all the athletes wanted to get on that wall. So we felt like if you got on that wall, you did something.
You did something.
You were somebody, right?
Right. Yeah.
So that was the motivation when I was there playing and running track. And I did the best I could with what the size I was, and to be able to be the best I could to get on that wall. And the blessing of God, I was able to exceed to be able to get up there. So.
And that's good stuff. So I know you and I talked offline about how you got to the University of Kentucky and your recruiting process. Do you want to talk about that? Because the recruiting process right now, and let's talk about Elijah and the recruiting process. It is so different. So we went through the recruiting process with Ty, and oh my God, what a stressful
It is right now.
Couple of years that is.
Well, I had to set because it's night and day from when I came through. I was always a player that I was always undersized, right? I wasn't 6'2", 6'3", $195 coming out of high school. I wasn't like that. So
right.
I was probably at the tops 5'9", about 160, probably coming out of high school. But the thing was that I was different in the manner. I was very strong and I was determined and I made plays. You know, when you made plays on Friday nights and, you know,
you'll get noticed.
When scouts used to come out a lot to games and things of that nature. Now they got huddle. They just put it on social media and send it out, right?
Yes.
So I had a VHS tapes. So I put them together and send it out to coaches.
Right.
So my era. So, but as you speed it up to now, today's now era where my son is now competing and hopefully getting to that point where scouts will hopefully being able to continue to look at him and continue to grow as a junior leading to the senior year. It's done different. You got to now to get kids looks. You have to go out and go to camps, and you know you got to spend money.
It's an investment.
It is an investment all the way around, and I bought into it. I had to be able to get your kid an opportunity to be able to get out there and get looks.
Because there's so much competition. And then I think what people don't realize is that only 1%. Small.
It's very small. And I was get
to the next level.
Yeah. So the recruiting process, I mean, I was getting recruited by UK, Illinois, EKU. I was going to Illinois, to be honest with you. And they backed out on me, and Bill Curry called me up. Well, Coach Joker Phillips at the time was recruiting me at UK. He called me up and asked me what's going on. You going to Illinois? What's going on? This, that, and the third. And I said they backed out on me. They chose another guy that committed. They committed earlier. So I was in a position where he said, "Well, we're coming over there tomorrow, the next night." And I committed to UK before, and I was ready to go to EKU for a visit. So I was just tired of the whole process, I guess. And I said, well, I can settle on going to SEC, playing the SEC. So that's kind of how that went. And even with that said, Terry, you get over there because everybody's good coming out of high school, right? So you still got to compete, you know?
But you just hit on something that I learned through the process too is, okay, so what a lot of people don't understand is that the coaches are going to offer, let's say they have a safety position open. I'm just going to use Ty as for example. Yeah. They have a safety position open. You got to know what, you might have a school that you might want to go to, but they might not have a spot for you.
No, you may not have a spot. You're right.
Right. It's tough. You gotta go. You have to do your due diligence. Like you have to look at the depth chart. Mm-hmm. You got to see who's getting ready to leave, who's not getting ready to leave. And then now with COVID, what's the dude? Did you see the dude from Miami? This is getting ready to be his 10th year.
Ninth or 10th year.
Ninth or 10th year.
That's ridiculous, man.
Right. And so, even here, J.J. Watt decided to come back this year. J.J. Watt was supposed to be gone, and there was a couple, and Eli Cox, and there was a couple other ones from UK. Right. They should have been gone this year. Right. But they're coming back. And so you're dealing with that. Now you're dealing with the transfer. Now you're dealing with the transfer portal. Right. You gotta learn the rules of the transfer portal. So Nick Saban just retired.
Right.
As soon as Nick Saban mentioned his retirement, them kids got 30 days
to decide on what they want to do.
That they have a 30-day window that they can enter the portal because the coach is leaving. And now that I'm hearing that John Harbaugh is going to the Chargers, let's see how many people are getting ready to leave Michigan.
I didn't know that. So he is going. He's going to the Chargers.
So before I came on, they're saying that it looks like he's going to the Chargers. And so now let's see how many people are going to leave. Are getting ready to leave Michigan because the coach is leaving, right? And so now, there's
It's a
just
mess.
so many dynamics that
Yeah.
you have to,
Yes.
oh yeah, Mr. Brown said, Mr. Brown said that he's out at Michigan. And Mr. Brown, I'm gonna go back to your other comment about JT Haskins, and but I see it though. But because I even during Ty's process, he had an offer from Tennessee, and the coach got fired.
Yeah.
Right. So we didn't know, so then now you have to find out whether or not the coach is going to, the coach coming in is going to honor those offers, because, they might have a different scheme.
Yeah.
So one thing you got to do is, if you're a defensive player, what defense do they run? Is it something that you're already familiar with?
Sure.
We were lucky that Kentucky, that Frederick Douglass runs a version of Kentucky's defense. Mm-hmm. And so Ty's learning curve wasn't as extensive as somebody else that maybe was comes in and maybe doesn't know that and has to learn it from scratch, right? Yeah. Which is tougher. Yeah. And the same thing with on offense. So we had, even Liam, they were still talking about him getting ready to leave. So you're like, oh Lord, he left. We had one coach come back, now he done came back, and so you just don't never know. And so there's just so many dynamics of the recruiting process that a lot of parents really need to be educated about. And, and of course, that's the reason why I created our, this page. And my girl has the sports family university group, and Drew's always talking about the recruiting process, because when I tell you it is difficult, it is difficult. Yes. And I want to touch on that. Go ahead, because I want to touch on the.
I was going to say that they have to make sure, parents have to make sure, along with the student athlete, they can't go to schools for the coaches. I know they're recruiting them, right? But coaches come and go. They just do. So it's more than just going to school because of the guy that you fell in love with, the coach, or the guy that
you don't never know when he's gonna leave,
or whoever, because they can be recruiting you one day and then they get you there and they could be gone the next day. Absolutely. So you have to make sure that's the institution that you got to investigate and do your homework with the institution also. And then the thing is also is that when you get there to the school, that's the selling of it is a 4-year scholarship. But it's not a 4-year scholarship. It is a 1-year renewal scholarship based upon what you do athletically, academically, etc. Those two areas can get you lose a scholarship. And depending on how you do on the field, off the field, and everything. So you have to keep that understanding. What parents need to understand, it's not a 4-year guaranteed ordeal. It's a 1-year renewal process in that whole deal. So that's important for them to understand.
That is, it's like you get an evaluation at the end of the season.
Absolutely.
And then so you see some kids that at the end of the season, they're entering the portal, and you're like, well, why are these kids entering the portal? And they're not entering the portal because they want to enter the portal. They're entering the portal because their scholarship is not being renewed.
Can be a lot of scenarios. It's a lot of scenarios inside that are new.
Or you're looking at who they got coming in that they done brought in from the transfer portal, or who they're recruiting in from high school.
You ready to go?
And
you're ready to go.
You're gonna still find yourself on number 2, number 3, and number 4 on the depth chart. You're not 1 or 2. You're not really suiting up.
Right, and that's kind of, Terry. Honestly, I mean, in my day and age, we were able to like recruit, transferring came in my mind one season.
Okay,
I was going into my sophomore year, right?
Right.
But granted, I saw that I know that I could get involved. I could crack the starting lineup at some point. Mm-hmm. So granted, that's kind of a transfer portal mindset, because a lot of guys now, whereas I hung in there and I competed and I earned my job, right?
Yeah.
Because you earned it. You went out there, you outplayed people, things happen. This person get injured, that person get injured, then you the guy.
Well, I mean Ty got in that position this past season. Yeah.
That's how it happens.
And
then,
as a true freshman, got an opportunity to see the field as a starter.
Absolutely. I saw it. Absolutely. But the thing, what myself and Ty had at that age of competing, and a lot of other guys had, he wasn't afraid to be able to compete and earn that spot.
Right.
So when you play in the college level, Division I level, some things got to happen for you to get a starting position. It just has to happen because so many good players, things happen, But now a lot of guys were in a situation where, well, I don't want to battle. I don't know if I'm made to start. I'm gonna jump into this portal and go somewhere else. So I mean, well, it works for some people.
You think that the portal has made things, like I think it has its pros and cons. Right. But I think one of them I think you make it too easy where, okay, if I'm not getting my way or I'm just going to go into the portal. But there's a lot of kids that enter the portal and they don't get out the portal.
That's true. And that's sad, but that's true. That's the reality.
You should have stayed where you was at.
Absolutely. You make it work. I mean, I'm just used to blue collar. I'm going to make it. I'm going to get out here. I'm going to compete. And it's going to be me, mano a mano. I'm gonna go hard every day. I'm gonna outwork you. I'm gonna outperform you on the field, off the field. I'm gonna show these coaches that I'm a better player. What happened to those days it's baffling to me because it makes you feel better as a player that nobody's gonna give you anything. You got to earn that thing, right? The same thing I'm telling my son every day. It's like, yo, you got to get out there. You got to earn your job, man. And that's what your son has done. He's earned his job. So now when you earn that job at that higher level, you appreciate it more, right? Because nobody give you nothing.
Because nobody give it.
They give you
and then and then of course what he did when you go out and you lead the team in tackles from safety. I mean, you definitely sent a message.
Ty's the exception because playing as a freshman, it don't happen every day.
In the SEC,
it don't happen every day. It don't happen. Not a lot of guys can say they did that.
No, not at all. So hubby done made it home from work and he done got on and zagged on and
let me talk about what y'all was talking about in the car when you tried to get me fired my second year at Dunbar High School. Let me put that out on the record. And basically what ended up happening is he was putting on the performance. We're going to get P.O. his pops too. But I'm going to tell you, this is a true story. Lovie Smith's son, Miguel, comes in, moves in, and he don't care about no one else. His first question, he doesn't ask the head coach. He does. At that time, I was just a DB coach.
Yeah.
And he doesn't ask anyone. He walks up to me and said, "Who's their star?" And I said, "Well, that's that Littleton Ward kid." He goes, "Coach, I know you like to change defense. I want to shadow him the whole game. I want to shadow him the whole game." I said, "Man, he might make you look bad because they say he's nice." They say he's nice. And I think that's the ultimate compliment you can get from another outstanding player that says, "Hold on, if I can 50-50 this, 49-51 this, I did very well. I did very well."
And Cisco, you see me in high school. You see me as a pup. So that's a blessing to hear that. You told me that story before.
It's a fact.
Yeah. And I'm a humble dude, so I really don't. I feel like this. I feel like if I did anything that was worthwhile in my career, then somebody else will tell it, right?
Right. Well. Here's the thing. Yeah, your performance. I mean, I basically still remember it very well. I mean, you got a quarterback. You was playing center. You was a water boy. You were. I thought I saw you over being Terrell Owens with the pom poms. Just doing your thing. But I mean that. I know y'all talked a little bit about the comparison of you and your son, and I've been a fan of your son since at least out, and also the transfer portal. My comment on that is, I just think it's different. That's it. And just like anything else, once we get used to it, once the NCAA steps in and times stuff down, which they did based on 2 years, I think sometimes you go where you think the grass is greener. And then when you mow that lawn, you find out it's got rocks in that grass as well.
Sure.
But I think having babies the opportunity that college coaches has done for years, I think it's good. I just think it's a little bit too much time. Like I think Terry made a comment about Michigan with Harbaugh going to San Diego, having 30 days. Now teams it's tough because they might have got rid of all their scholarships.
Right.
And a lot of them ain't going coaching jobs, you know, because we're friends, you know, history with Clint and with that. So how's your son feeling? I don't know if you asked this about this past season, his sophomore year.
Oh, we hadn't got to that.
I think that it was a learning experience for him. It was frustrating, to be upfront with you. It was very frustrating because he felt like he was playing in a position where he was sacrificing the running back position, help out with the running back position. But he's a DB. So he was kind of going back and forth. Now, there was reasons why he had to get moved over there, you know, which were legitimate reasons. You sacrifice for the team, you do what you need to do, and feel like you can be the impact in that way. But I don't think he wanted it. I know he didn't. Talking to him, he wasn't comfortable with that because he just wanted to focus in on strictly defensive back play. So the blessing of it is now he has some adversity that he went through.
Right.
And I could only go beside him and support him in the adversity. I couldn't go through the process. I went through it, but I didn't go through it with him physically, right? And it's hard to see a child go through something like that. But what I have seen going through the adversity has made him a lot more focused. It's made him a lot more serious. It's made him a lot more hungry, right? From his standpoint, because I can't play for you. He knows I can't play for you. This is your chance to show what you got, your pedigree, whatever you got, whatever God has inside of you. This is your ride. But I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna do the best I can to get your mind focused on the ride. Right, I can tell you that, guide you in that direction. So I think he's in a comfortable position. He's in a good mindset now, and he knows he's got to compete. He knows he's got to compete now.
And it also goes to when remember he was a freshman, and I said to you, I said that's the difference between Ty. Ty established himself as a DB first, then he was an offensive player. Sure. When your baby came in as a freshman, he was, again, using the numbers, he was 50-50. Remember, I even asked you, I said, which side of the ball is he on?
You did ask me.
And then I said, if he doesn't decide a side, they'll side one for you. And basically my intuition came true. When they put him on offense first and not DB first. You know, am I correct on that?
Yeah, well, it was defense. It was back and forth. It was a back and forth ordeal. And you know what? And I'll say this about your son last year as he was a senior doing his thing, you know, he was able to pull. I talked to Ty. I said, pull him to the side every now and again, talk to him, just get his mind together, help him out here and there. And the thing about it now, I mean, Elijah, as the year went on, Elijah started looking up to Ty. You understand what I'm saying? So they have built, I mean, you have a communication there. I know Ty's he's in college, he's doing his thing now, but your son always he reaches back. You follow me? And he always communicates with him when he can. So that's the blessing of having my son being able to look at your son as a role model in that way gives him an outlet, right? To be able to see, okay, this guy worked. Your son worked to get to where he is with the blessings of his skill and with the blessings of his framework and physiques and his physicality and things of that nature. But he worked, man. So that's the best thing that Ty could have done to Elijah could see is the work ethic, the time and the things he put in to be.
Just like with Ty, your baby GPA, I mean, is 4.0, right?
Elijah is a 3.5 student.
3.5, right? Well, he's up there.
He's up there. He's
up
consistent
there.
3.5. Yes, he is.
And that's huge too.
Yeah, it is, and it's
That's
more
huge
important
too.
than anything else. I have
That's
to,
more important than anything. You have to be a student athlete first.
but I have to every now and again. I have to be able to push some buttons because he gets lazy, and I know he's listening, and I know he's watching. Now he gets a little lazy, but I have no problem doing that because it's my job, right? To be able to push those buttons to help him, if you will. Just like you with your baby, you're trying to take them where they can't take themselves,
or don't realize how to get there.
Right.
Because a lot of times they can't see the future vision because like I tell Ty all the time, every time he gets older, he will never catch me in age.
Yeah, right.
And I know more about his age than he knows about mine.
So my focus is just being able to, see my son happy about what he's doing, working his butt off, playing, doing what he needs to do, and where the finish line ends, it ends. When we sit up there and decide on where he's going, I'll be able to breathe and say, "Hey, son, hey, we're satisfied with what we're doing," and I'll be happy with that because he made it to the point where he could get to a college and be able to, have a full scholarship somewhere. Because I sure enough don't have the money to pay for college.
No,
right? Hey. So that's the end all be all to be able to do that, but. We're going to try to enjoy the ride now. I'm going to try my best to enjoy the ride.
You have to enjoy the ride. But I do want to touch on what you said about going through the adversity. I think one of the things that we do as parents is that we always try to make things as simple and easy as possible for our kids. But one of the best things that we could do is to allow them to go through the adversity because that's how they're going to be able to grow. And that's how they're going to be able to take things to another level. And it also is going to give you a gauge on where they are as far as their level of commitment to the process.
That's facts.
How they go through the adversity and what happens on the other side of that adversity. So I'm going to go back to Mr. Brown. I think his first question, he talked about JT Haskins.
Yeah.
He said, no. First, he talked about, he mentioned Frank LeMaster. He said he observed the span over 50 years of Bryan Station, lost to E-Town in 71. Lord, I was only one. He said, I believe that team had Frank LeMaster, who played at UK and was he with UK and the Philadelphia Eagles?
He's the baller. LeMaster's the baller.
Yeah. And then he said, do you and JT Haskins have discussions when UK and Louisville play in their annual rival game since as he was a player at Louisville?
Yeah, JT, the JT Haskins, I won't say this about JT because when me and him really connected was when I was finishing up at UK and I came back over to Bryan Station to coach track and field, right? And they had a squad in them that they would Shelton, JT, all those guys was over there. I knew, what I'm saying, but I didn't really know. I was coming back there to give back to Bryan Station, right?
Right.
What I saw in JT Haskins as an athlete at Bryan Station, he was a worker. He worked hard, right? Alongside with his brother Robert Haskins. Robert Haskins doesn't get the recognition that JT has gotten. Mm-hmm. That tag on Robert Haskins was nice.
He was a heck of a baseball player too.
Nice. I got to give that kid I got to give that guy. He's a grown man now, but I got to give his props. So I think that Rob probably pushed JT to be the best, to be the way he is. But JT, he had the skill. He was an athletic dude, and we built our relationship through me helping him run track. I coached him in track and field, and we just kind of built it from there. And plus, he's a Bryan Station alum. But we mess around every now and then. I mean, JT's in his career of coaching Bryan Station now. His sons are doing good.
He's at DC, right? At Bryan Station.
Bryan Station, and his son has got a full scholarship to go to OU.
He went to Miami of Ohio. Where'd he go? Miami of Ohio?
Ohio University.
Ohio University. Okay.
Yeah, and then his youngest son.
He's a beast. Jordan's
going to he's going to probably be the best out of all the. He's a beast. He's going to.
JT also just coached in the.
I got to make a phone call.
East-West game.
So I'm out. Yeah. This is actually the first time I ever came on unless I was already on. So I had to come on to give you the story and how you and you and JT both almost got me fired. JT, the story on JT was that team you're talking about.
Yeah,
I think they're still scoring on my Dunbar team. I think they beat us like 73 to something. And so the next year, Shelton was a senior, and that game was on CBS. We played at Dunbar, and it was a live game. And I said this, I said, guys, they can't beat us without JT. JT just graduated.
Well, he made that team
They
go.
was the number 2 team in the state at that time, and we beat them. Because JT he could run that triple option.
He made that team go when they went to the state. Period.
It's always good talking to you. The wife is ready to. Hope she remembers the question. I cut her off. I'm sorry.
I don't remember.
No, appreciate you, man.
All right, now I gotta figure out how to get up.
You was a ball player too, man.
Hey! All I know is I love just watching and telling.
Man, you can
when that young man at the game dunked. And I was setting aside off the tally, and I said, "Did you ever see me play basketball?" He said, "No." I said, "Oh, I could dunk like that."
He's crazy.
He's so crazy.
He's crazy.
He's so crazy. He's crazy.
Yeah.
I want to give props to you. You mentioned JT Haskins, but I got to give him and Hawkins props for they coached. Is it the East-West game?
It was at the All-American game.
At the All-American game or something like that, and they coached in that game. I thought that was a great.
Hawkins was the head coach.
So, I don't think they watch my podcast, but I still want to give them a shout out for.
They do. They watch it.
Yeah, I want to get. They're not watching.
You'd be surprised.
Really? Yeah.
Surprised.
So, Mr. Brown is my dude. So he says seemingly the NIL and the transfer portal has muted the letter of intent binding agreement. Do you think that?
It has something to do with it. I mean, I just think that it's just not NIL is. I think the NIL came about. It's helped out being able to get athletes their due, right? Because you put so many fans in the stands. When I play with thousands of fans in the stands on every Saturday night.
If you have an opportunity to make a little piece of change, I don't understand why the kids can't have it. Now, there is a difference between having a collective and no, this is the thing about the NIL. I think that a lot of people don't understand. It's still not pay for play.
I got you.
Pay for play is still illegal.
Yeah. I got you. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's
and so these kids that are coming, and I'll be honest, I think that's the reason why Nick Saban retired.
Because of the NIL.
I think because there were kids that were like, I'm not coming for a visit unless you're paying me $500,000.
Right. Yeah, it's bad.
Dude, you haven't even proven yourself. People have no idea. So the whole rating system. Let's talk parents. So you got this star rating system. You got somebody's opinion on whether or not somebody's a 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, 2-star, 1-star.
All politics.
Whatever it is, right? But if you go and you look at, matter of fact, I would love to see what star Tom Brady was, because I don't know what his rating was, right? But I know like Dak Prescott was a 3-star, but he shows himself that he's a 3-star.
Well, I mean, there's some guys out there that are they top rated. They got the features, right? This is what they're looking at now. They're looking at size,
They look good coming off the bus.
How they look, right? This is what the top stars are, and then getting the offers. The offers are the big thing. Getting offers by the P5 schools rates your stars. So you got all these recruiting sites on doing those things. So some kids are legit, right?
And some of them are legit. But then when some of them get to the next level and they're having to compete,
the stars don't matter.
They get exposed, and that star doesn't matter.
No matter. That's where the stars does a disservice, because when I went to college at UK, we had guys that were All-Americans coming in where I was just honorable mention All-American, All-Stater.
Right.
And at the end of the day, They ain't looking at no stars. They look at more so how much you want it. You got to compete. You got to work your butt off in the weight room. You got to train like crazy. You got to outwork that person to get on that field.
Absolutely.
So them stars can pitch the stars at the door when they go to college.
I agree, and what I've seen from my experience is a lot of the ones that have the 5-star rating, you know, they get that diva attitude where they think that they just the stuff, or they've been in a program where everything was kind of easy for them.
Sure.
And they didn't have to compete because they were just so much better than the people that were around them. You know, and I think that plays a part. I think that plays a part too. I would love to be a recruiter because one of the things that I'm going to look at is, okay, you won a state championship, but what level was the state championship that you won?
Right.
And what is the level of competition at that level in your particular state? You know, so and let's take Frederick Douglass for instance.
Yeah.
And at first I didn't until recently when Frederick Douglass started winning championships or getting to the championship game, I didn't understand.
Right.
Because I really did not understand why Kentucky wasn't recruiting players out of the state of Kentucky, or why the good players out of the state of Kentucky were going to Alabama and going to going to Notre Dame or going someplace else. And I'm like, how come Kentucky is not getting these good players? And then I found out that they weren't recruiting them because the level of competition in Kentucky compared to the level of competition in Ohio or Alabama, Florida, Georgia is different.
It's different, but I also I think that they're doing it better, and I think UK is getting better at it.
Better
but
the level of talent is better.
It is, but you always want to get, and this is what my coaches, when I've got recruited, came out of high school, they always work to get the top kids out of the state. They should. Louisville and Kentucky both should look to get the top kids out of state, always, regardless. You should never. Nebraska shouldn't come up in here. West Virginia shouldn't come up in here.
Absolutely.
Baylor shouldn't come up in here and pull guys from
our top 10 guys should not be leaving the state.
Should happen.
They should be at Kentucky or Louisville.
It happened
or Western.
It happened. So, but I think they're trying to get better at it. But I'm not happy with it right now. I think they could get a lot better. But I think they're trying to turn the corner, right?
I think the effort is there.
Yeah, I'll say that.
I think the effort is there. I think they want the kids, but then when the kids are getting on campus and competing, they're not living up to the expectation.
That could be it. Maybe they're not the Kentucky kids. When they get them over there, they're from this area. They're not staying or they're not competing like they need to. And it could be it. I'm kind of out of the coaching loop now. I was 8 years a college coach at Kent State, Thomas More, Wilmington College, recruiting like crazy. So I was in that rim. So I kind of understood it. I got out of it because family. I want to make sure I saw my family. I was recruiting like crazy, so I couldn't see my family.
Right.
And I wanted to be able to be a father.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to raise my kids.
Yeah.
It's hard to raise your kids when you're on that road a lot.
When you're on the road. Yeah, when you're on the road.
Because mama's raising, mama's raising them, or they're raising themselves. And nothing against anybody, nothing against nobody that wants to go in that lifestyle. It's just college coaching is a tough ordeal.
But that's tough. I mean, Cisco turned down the opportunity to coach at the college level because he wanted to be a father.
It's tough. It's really tough. Right.
Yeah. And that's a big sacrifice, and that's a sentiment to who you all are as men.
Yeah.
Because we talk about how we need more role models for these kids that are fatherless.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of them.
Absolutely.
And that's just a testament to them. We're almost done we're already at an hour. We're done.
I gotta make it roll.
Lisa gonna kill me. She's like, if you don't get off this phone and get your butt home, don't be having. She gonna tear you. Will you please let my husband go and get him so he can get home?
You watch.
Right. So I'm gonna make sure I address all of Alvin's questions because he always brings some good ones. But he said that he almost forgot about Keo Sanford, who was a great receiver route running at SB's. He said how difficult is it to stay off of social media and focus on his craft. As far as Ty, it's hard. It's hard for us as parents to stay off of social media. So I was on Twitter and some dude made a comment about I don't know what Stoops is doing and why he would recruit somebody like a Ty Bryant. And we're like, I didn't have to say nothing. Thank goodness. Everybody else went on ahead and went in on him. And they was like, what the heck you talking about? He's one of our best recruits. And somebody else said, yeah, that's why he just got freshman player of the SEC freshman player of the week. While you talking about he's not a good. I mean, I ain't had to say nothing because they don't know. They didn't know. He didn't know what he was talking about. So one of the things I am going to say about parents is that you got to stay off of social media because people just like to run their mouth and they have courage around this social media thing because they can't get hit in the mouth.
Absolutely, and he don't know Ty Bryant. I mean,
you don't even know Ty like that.
If you knew who the kid was and what the kid stood for, he reversed all what he just said. But he can't.
Absolutely.
So, right. But I'm on social media more so because that's where the college scouts.
Well, it's not. It's Twitter. It's called X now. Yeah. I don't even know what we're supposed to call it. We're supposed to call it X, right? But that's where all the coaches are. They're on Twitter.
So I'm just trying to support my son. That's all. I just got on there since he's been on there and playing ball. You have to. And you got to promote him more so in a positive way. You follow me?
So as a parent, you have to be the one to promote your child. Absolutely. You can't be relying on the coaches.
Can't
do it. Now, Frederick Douglass does a great job of promoting the kids. Don't get me wrong. Frederick Douglass does.
Right.
I don't really see a lot of that from any of the other coaches besides Frederick Douglass. I mean, the other teams besides Frederick Douglass here in Lexington, where we live. No shade to any of the other teams, but I just felt like all the other schools need to take the blueprint that Frederick Douglass has as far as promoting their players.
Does a good job at Station.
JT does.
Good. Yeah, they're doing a good job. He does a real good job.
Good stuff.
I just kept picking up what they do, what y'all do, and I'm just learning. I'm learning along the way.
It's a process. So he said that we can't overlook that Kroger Field was lit during the state championship game for Bryan Station.
It was. It was. From what I heard, it was. I wasn't there. You got to forgive me for that. I wasn't there because I had some other obligations at the time. But from what I've heard, my family was there, and they said it was unbelievable. So I felt bad because I wasn't there at the state championship because I had some other things going on. So don't charge it to my heart, though.
Okay. He did say Jalen Milrose was a 3-star, I believe. He's a beast. I don't care what nobody says.
He's a monster.
Jalen Milrose, he's a beast. He came along. So and again, he went through the adversity. They put him on the bench.
Yeah, he's a monster, man.
They put him on the bench. They figured it out, and he was a freaking monster, man. You know, I didn't like that last play call against Michigan, but
that was a little suspect, man.
I didn't like that last play call, but because Stevie Wonder could see what was getting ready to happen. But that's above my pay grade. I don't.
But that's the coaching.
I'm only a female football coach. What do I know? I don't know no better.
You ball coach. You ball coach now. You coaching at the pro level too. You ball coach.
Your wife is on. She said you're fine. Thank you, Talisa. I'm getting ready to let him go in a few minutes, and he's gonna be on his way home. Anyway, that's it. So so thank you for being on. I appreciate you so much. It's definitely all love. We
absolutely.
I treat your every time I see your beautiful daughter, I take a selfie with her little beautiful self, and Elijah's his nephew. So that's just how we do it. It takes a village. It really does.
From both sides. And your son Ty Bryant, man, I can't rave enough about him because he's an upstanding kid. He's an upstanding person. You feel me? And he's down to earth and he's real. So he doesn't mind coming back and being able to, connect no matter what. So he's he's a real cat, and you got to be, and that's got to be inside you to do that.
It has to.
You don't have to. You don't have to do it.
Yeah.
When you get to that level, you don't have to do that. So.
Absolutely. So we appreciate it. So listen, I want to put the website of Layshaw back on again, because we're getting ready. The Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame is near and dear to our hearts. It's our baby, and if you have a athlete that is from the Lexington area, Kentucky area, because I think they don't have to be born here. I think they changed the rules or something like. I think they have to have been a resident at some point.
Has to be a resident from Lexington at some point.
Lexington at some point or something like that to be and be eligible. But it doesn't matter. You just go nominate whoever, and we'll decipher who's the nomination committee or go through the criteria to see who's who is eligible and who's not eligible. But if you know someone that was a stellar athlete out of Lexington, Kentucky, please go to layshoff.com and nominate them for for 2025. We're starting now, so we're getting but just be on the lookout and for the 2024 nominees are going to come out sometime in February, and save the date. So our third annual gala is going to be on September the 21st at the Central Bank Center, downtown Lexington. So I think that's it. He said, what Mr. Brown said? He said, check out various podcasts, but I rate you, Terry, as the best. You've
been rolling. This is your
thank you.
You said it's season 7, Terry?
Yes. Oh yeah, today is season 7, episode 1. So today is actually the 71st, because I do every season is like 10 episodes. So that's how I'm able to keep up with it without having to always kind of go through and count how many episodes we did. So so today's our 71st episode, season 7, episode 1 started today, and we had none other than Mr. Littleton Ward as our guest today, and I appreciate you so much, sir. So I'm gonna end the broadcast, and Lisa, your husband will be on his way home shortly. Hey, don't log off, and we'll chop it up as soon as I end the broadcast. Anyway, guys, go to Facebook and to Hits and Heels, and like and share the broadcast. Also go to YouTube and to Hits and Heels. I think I got that banner on there.
Yeah, you got it.
I can't remember. It's somewhere on there.
Yeah, it's on
there. Here it is. Yeah. So to YouTube and at Hits and Heels, and like and subscribe to that as well, so that you can get the notifications. And we appreciate you. Y'all have a good one. Be easy.
See ya.